guys, welcome back. I'm Todd Black Musician Drummer, and today we are talking about China. That's right, not the politics, but the music. It's all about the music, guys, especially on this channel. So today we are pretty much demystifying the myth of what a China is used for. And it's stereotypical that most musicians, whenever you see a drummer bring a China cymbal to maybe a country gig or just a normal church gig, they're like, oh no, I gotta have to fire this guy. No, you always, if the person brought a China cymbal to those gigs, you should always ask them this: what musical purpose are you going to achieve with that China cymbal? And if they say, like, oh, I'm just going to have a double bass and just crash, it's like, yeah, fire him. But if he says, oh, I was thinking about in this section, like when we play like Neon Moon, I was thinking about like in this section to play it because there's a strong point and I want to add more supports to the lead singer. And if it's like that, then yes, but probably not for Neon Moon. But if there is a purpose, if you are a drummer and you think that there's going to be a really strong moment in this song and I need a China cymbal, then get it. And this is one of the myths. And here is what the purpose of a China cymbal is used for. The China cymbal is one of the strongest cymbals to use, in my musical opinion and other musicals' opinion. And this is where I'm getting it from. I'm getting it from John Riley. John Riley, if you know him, I met him. And also, he's a really great jazz drummer who graduated from UNT alumni and teaches at the Manhattan School of Music. And he has a lot of great books in the DVD. So, that's right, I published you, John. I advertised you, John Riley. So, he has a very interesting viewpoint about the China cymbal. And one thing he said is that whenever he thinks that there's a strong soloist, when he's with the Village Vanguard, he plays the China cymbal because it's very strong and distinct. And that got me thinking that if this player is strong, then the China cymbal is going to fill out the entire room. And the China cymbal is going to like add a lot of support. It's going to be a beefy sound. And it got me thinking that, is the China the strongest cymbal, the strongest crash cymbal there is? And in my musical opinion, yes, it is. And so, and you start to think of these cymbals in kind of like this type of thing, where you got, here's my musical opinion and every other jazz musician's other musical opinion, is that every cymbal can be a ride cymbal. Yes. So the splash, it's very weak. It's a very weak ride cymbal, but it's very rare for a musical purpose. Then you got the hi-hats, which I've seen Ed Soph actually ride on a hi-hat, and it was during a ballad, and it makes perfect sense because it's a thin sounds and it had a musical purpose. Then you got the actual crashes, and they can be ride cymbals. Depending on what kind of crash you have, they can be a ride cymbal. And then you got the ride cymbal, and then you got the China cymbal. So, and China/Swiss cymbal. And this is very interesting in this musical mindset, that there are levels of intensity with these cymbals. And this is just my musical viewpoint, this little diagram I'm just giving to you. And it's just a very interesting way of thinking. Now, this stuff is not just used for metal. It's also used for jazz. And so in jazz, it was really, we didn't see it during Count Basie or Duke Ellington's time, but we really started to see it being used during Mel Lewis's time. And when he was with like the Fat Jones Big Band or Jazz Orchestra. And he started to use the China in the way that John Riley was saying that he used it for, which was to add more support in sections that are like really beefy and really strong, because the Fat Jones Mel Lewis Big Band was really, really strong. And you could tell with when he plays, you could hear the China cymbal, and it adds more intensity to the music and makes it more thick. And this is what you musically want. And I trust Mel Lewis's ear because he's a great musician. He has an ear for what he wants. And this is what to think about. when you use a China cymbal is, what is my musical purpose? What kind of purpose am I, or what kind of service am I doing for the musician? Am I supporting him, or is it just dysfunctional and all? So you want to be using your ear with this stuff. You want to be sure that you have a great musical ear, you have a purpose for this, because you don't want to show up for a country gig and you just bring out your double bass, you bring out your China, and then you're like, bah, bah, and it's like, neon moon, what the, and all. So you don't want to do that. You definitely do not want to do that. That's a good way to get fired. If you want to get fired, and that's the way to go. But if you have a great musical ear, you have a great musical purpose for that China cymbal, go for it. Because that is what's going to get you hired or fired, is that type of mindset. And it's good to have that mindset, because you will get hired, because you'll be different than all those other musicians who just bang and they don't have a purpose for rhyme or reason for playing. And this is really important, to have a rhyme or reason for your playing and your musical choice. And it's really important to have this musical choice. For example, like in this gig, will high toms work more than have low tuning, or the other way around? And this is some things you have to think about. And cymbal choice. It's always good to have a backup cymbal, because sometimes the musician you're with or the musician you're recording with will go like, you know what, I really don't like that cymbal. Do you have another cymbal that you can use? And this is why it's always good to have a backup, because this happened to me a couple of times when I'm recording for people, and it happened a couple of times for me during some gigs. And they're like, you know what, I really don't like that ride cymbal. It's starting to sound too big bandish. You got another one? You know, like, nah, not right now, but I could get one soon and all that, because I'm definitely thinking about getting a backup, because this is something that happens a lot. And it's something we drummers have to do, is have a backup cymbal for, just in case our client is like, I don't like that cymbal, get a different one. And it's like, okay, I'll get a different one. And so it's always good to have a backup cymbal for you. And this is what I'm talking about musical choice. And this is really important for the China cymbal, is musical choice. What role is it going to do, and how is it going to serve you in the long run? And it's a very strong cymbal. It's like, my musical opinion, it's one of the strongest cymbals you can use. It's very trebly, very harsh, and you probably want that in your music. A very nice, very supportive, very strong cymbal. And so that's pretty much the thing about that China, is what it's used for. Extremely supportive. It has a very unique sound, and it's like one of the strongest crash cymbals that I know about that it can be used, and just very distinctive. So, and don't worry about metal stuff, all right, guys? Like, if you're picking a China cymbal, and if you're just doing a metal gig, then pick any cymbal that you want. But if you're looking for a distinct sound, look at the profile and try to understand, like, is this the China that I want? Is this the cymbal that I want? And what kind of gigs will I use with this cymbal? And that's the thing about that, to think about too. So that's pretty much today's video, guys. I'm pretty sure you learned something about Chinas today. That it really wasn't used for metal. It was used for jazz too. And it was a very supportive cymbal. And so this is pretty much what I want to tell you, is with all of you musicians that are very stereotypical about the China cymbal, don't be, all right? It's also used for jazz, and it's a very strong cymbal. So just understand that it's a strong cymbal, and that's all you need to know about that cymbal, and it's very versatile. So that's pretty much today's video, guys. Like, you learned something. I know that for a fact. All right. So I'm Todd Blackman, your Essential Drummer. Don't forget to comment, like, subscribe. Tell me how you are. And I'll see you in the next one, guys.